The bustling terminal at Chicago O'Hare hummed with activity as 12-year-old Marcus Williams sat quietly in the departure lounge. His small hands gripped a first-class boarding pass, the golden ticket gleaming under the harsh airport lights. Other passengers rushed past him, dragging oversized suitcases and clutching coffee cups. Marcus checked his phone again. His father would be so proud when he heard about today's school presentation. The boy had won the state science fair, and this flight to New York was his reward. He looked around nervously, then stood up as the boarding announcement echoed through the terminal. This was it. First-class passengers may now board, the gate agent announced cheerfully. Marcus walked toward the jetway, his backpack bouncing against his shoulders. The flight attendant at the entrance, Sarah Mills, glanced at his ticket with raised eyebrows. Her smile faded quickly as she examined the boarding pass more closely. "Excuse me, young man," she said, her voice sharp and condescending. "I think you might be confused. This is first class." Marcus held up his ticket confidently. "Yes, ma'am. Seat RA." Sarah's eyes narrowed. She looked around at the other first-class passengers, all adults, mostly white business travelers. "Where are your parents? Children don't usually travel alone in first class." Her tone suggested suspicion rather than concern. Marcus remained polite. "My dad arranged everything. The ticket is valid." But Sarah wasn't convinced. She called over her colleague, Tom, who glanced at Marcus with the same doubtful expression. "Sir, I'm going to need to see some identification," Sarah demanded, blocking Marcus from entering the aircraft. "This ticket might be fake." The words hit Marcus like a punch to the stomach. Other passengers began to stare, forming a small crowd behind him. Some pulled out their phones, sensing drama. "I have my school ID," Marcus offered, reaching into his backpack. But Sarah was already waving her hand dismissively. "That's not sufficient. Tom, call security. We have a situation here." Marcus's heart raced. He had done nothing wrong, yet he felt like a criminal. "Please, just call my father. His number is in the reservation system." Sarah crossed her arms. "Nice try, kid. Security is on their way." The jetway filled with tension as other passengers whispered among themselves. Some looked sympathetic, others seemed annoyed by the delay. Marcus stood his ground, refusing to move despite the humiliation burning in his chest. He knew his rights, and he knew his ticket was legitimate. Within minutes, 2 security guards appeared, their heavy footsteps echoing through the jetway. "What seems to be the problem?" asked the larger guard, looking directly at Marcus with suspicion. Sarah explained the situation dramatically, painting Marcus as a potential troublemaker trying to sneak into first class. "The boy claims he has a valid ticket, but something doesn't add up," she said, gesturing toward Marcus as if he were invisible. Marcus pulled out his phone with trembling fingers. "Can I make one call? Please?" The security guard nodded reluctantly. Marcus dialed a number quickly, his voice barely above a whisper. "Dad, they won't let me board. They think my ticket is fake." The conversation was brief, but something in Marcus's calm demeanor caught the attention of nearby passengers. "He's on his way," Marcus said quietly, ending the call. Sarah laughed mockingly. "Sure he is. Let's go, young man. You're coming with us." Suddenly, the gate agent's radio crackled to life. "We have an emergency situation at gate B7. Airport manager Rodriguez is en route immediately." Sarah looked confused as her supervisor rushed toward them, his face pale and panicked. "Ms. Mills, what exactly is happening here?" he demanded breathlessly. "We removed this boy from first class. His ticket appears fraudulent," Sarah explained confidently. The manager's eyes widened in horror. "Do you know who this child is?" he asked, his voice barely controlled. Sarah shrugged carelessly. "Some kid trying to scam his way into first class." The manager stepped closer, his voice dropping to a furious whisper. This is Marcus Williams. His father is David Williams, the owner of this entire airline. The color drained from Sarah's face as the words sank in. The security guards stepped back instinctively, realizing the magnitude of their mistake. Before anyone could respond, David Williams himself strode through the terminal, his presence commanding immediate attention. The successful businessman's face showed a mixture of fury and disappointment as he approached the group. Marcus, are you okay, son? He asked gently, placing a protective hand on his son's shoulder. Then his gaze shifted to Sarah, and his expression hardened. Can someone explain why my son was treated like a criminal for using a ticket I personally purchased? Sarah stammered, trying to find words that might save her job. Sir, we didn't know. It was protocol. David's voice remained calm but deadly serious. Protocol to assume a black child couldn't afford first class. Protocol to call security before verifying facts. The manager quickly intervened. Mr. Williams, we sincerely apologize. This situation will be fully investigated. Marcus looked up at his father with mature eyes. Dad, she was just doing what she thought was right. Maybe this can be a learning experience. David smiled proudly at his son's grace. You're right, Marcus. But actions have consequences. Sarah faced immediate suspension pending investigation, while Marcus boarded the plane to thunderous applause from passengers who had witnessed his dignified handling of injustice. Justice had prevailed, but more importantly, hope had triumphed over prejudice.